Yep. Peace to the gods, walking on this plane of chance and opportunity, attuned to the Most High consciousness. See, transitioning is just like a process of energy transformation. What we must remember is that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed from one form to another. What that means is that you truly never die. You truly never die because you have always lived and you will forever live. And what we think death is only us transforming into another form so that we can keep experiencing ourselves. And that's all things are doing. That's what everything is doing. You got to remember, this is a holographic universe. What you're seeing is just your brain trickling the DMT from the pineal gland secretion to your pituitary gland and sending that through your central nervous system. And so all you're doing is picking up on electromagnetic waves, and your brain is computing that and projecting that through your five senses. Okay, your brain is making electromagnetic signals. It's taking electromagnetic signals, waves from the quantum waves of the waters anew of all possibilities of everything that could exist, and computing that based on your DNA's genetic code, and then projecting your senses to you. So what everything you're seeing, so everything that you're seeing, feeling, tasting, touching, hearing, it's all smelling, it's all being projected by your brain. It's not just being taken in, it's being projected as well. So this is not what's actually going on here. What's actually going on is the genetic codes are just being played out. Your DNA, your piece of DNA that makes up who you think you are, is being played out. And all of the DNA of who you really are is being played out simultaneously. So all of the different possibilities that you could think about as you being you are just being played out. And when all of those thoughts and possibilities have been played out within this experience, then your brain will just transfer into another experience, into another body, another experience. This is how transitioning works. You pick up on waves of infinite possibilities, right? Depending on the perspective that you choose to hold with your conscious mind, since your subconscious mind is akin to those waves, those infinite possibilities. Your subconscious mind holds all of the thought that you could actually think, all of the possibilities of everything that you could think. And then it begins to structure itself in a way according to your conscious mind's perspective. Your conscious mind is like a prism, and your subconscious mind is like all of light. And that light is shining through this prism. Your conscious mind, whatever perspective you're holding, makes your conscious mind change its shape or change its prism of how it's formatted. And see, when that light shines through the conscious mind, your conscious mind perceives a reality, just as your brain projects a certain reality depending on the way that it's formatting the information that it has within it. Okay, so now when you are looking at the waves, the quantum waves of the waters anew, and you are holding a specific perspective, you are constantly holding a specific perspective, then those thoughts are structured in such a way to allow your conscious mind to experience those thoughts through that perspective. All of the thoughts that you could possibly think, all of the thoughts that are actually happening objectively, the thoughts that are happening and taking place. The things that are going to happen in your life, they're going to happen regardless. There's really nothing to fear. Fear is just false evidence appearing real, according to the most honorable prophet, Chief Eligio the Christ. We have to take a objective look at what's going on here. Your perspective is what makes things happen. Your perspective is what makes your subjective reality work the way it does. That's why we must keep a healthy perspective. That's why Chief Eligio the Christ always says, keep a healthy perspective. We got to begin to keep the knowledge, because the knowledge will keep you. If you are holding an unhealthy perspective with all of the thoughts that you could possibly think, then you're going to experience hell realm. You're going to experience hell realm. If you're constantly going through purgatory, you're constantly going through purgatory mind states and hellish mind states, lower realm mind states, lower self being, Babylon, 7 deadly sins of being Babylon, then you're going to experience the hell realms upon your transitioning. It is just like when you think positive thoughts, you're thinking positive thoughts. You have to actually think to the point to where you create this feeling. Because people are thinking positive thoughts all day, and positive things are happening. But what's happening to them is only their perception of what can be positive. It may not be actually beneficial for them when it comes to living in the natural state and living in their natural environment. And that is why all this new age teaching of just thinking positive and it will be, That's not going to work anymore. You must be balanced. According to the words of the most honorable prophet, Chief Eligio of the Christ, the higher self is the most balanced self. The higher self is the balanced self, the middle self. You have to be balanced. Can this thing positive, positive, positive all day? Because then you will be tilting the scale and you'll be overly positive, and you won't really be looking through how things are negatively affecting you. You'll see so much past the negative that you won't be able to take in the lesson that the negative is actually giving you. So there's people living in Babylon right now. There are people living in Babylon right now, working for the bank, working for their lower self, working for money, and don't even know it and don't even care, because they're just in la la land. They're in la la land thinking positive, positive all day. But when they transition, when these people transition, it's going to be hell for them, because they're going to be thinking their whole life that they were doing the right thing. They're going to be thinking their whole life that they were doing the right thing. And all of these subconscious programs, like the Christ consciousness, is constantly telling them, hey, no, move back, get in tune with nature, get out of that system, do your best to do the right thing. This is the right thing. Be more balanced. Don't just be in la la land looking all positive all day. Keep a healthy perspective, but a healthy perspective is a balanced perspective. And you know, yada yada yada. You could be a spiritual guru instead of working for their system, instead of deliberately working for their system. Only take what you need and go to the tropics where all human beings are supposed to be, and then we're gonna be straight. And they're gonna be played that back. Once they transition, they're gonna judge themselves, because truly in this reality is quantum, and no one else exists but you. No one else really exists but you. What you're going to do when you transition is you're going to be faced. You're going to be immediately faced. You're going to go through the moon. You're going to go through your dreamland, through the moon, and then you're going to go, the moon is going to reflect your light to the sun. You're going to go back to the sun, to where you're actually streaming from. Your consciousness is going to retract back into the sun, which is your mind, the symbolic version of the fullness of your mind, of all of the possible thought that you could think. And you're going to go back to that, and you're going to be faced with yourself. You're going to be faced with every single freaking thought that you have thought. Every single thought that you could have thought that could have made you your highest self, your most balanced self, the most in tune with nature self, the most divine self. The most beast-like and angelic simultaneously, the most God-like and devilish in balance self, the most good self. What's actually good for reality. And you're going to be faced with that, and you're going to know everything that you could have done to help humanity, because humanity is a reflection of you, and you are a reflection of humanity. The only way you could heal humanity is by healing yourself and expressing that to humanity through understanding, which is love. And truly loving yourself by knowing everything is you, not ignoring what you see as negative, but keeping a healthy perspective and bringing a solution to what is negative. And not just saying, oh man, forget about it, be positive. Think about the positive stuff. That I don't like, nothing else matters. No, that's why there's positive and negative. You must be balanced. Now, during this transition process, you're going to be faced with yourself. And if you did not do whatever, all of the things that you could have done to do your best to be balanced, then you're going to send yourself, your highest self does not judge you. Complete love and understanding does not judge you. You're going to judge yourself based on your astrological program. You're going to judge yourself based on your consciousness, on how you programmed your subconscious mind, on how you programmed your conscious mind to look from the perspective of seeing the subconscious mind in a specific way. And you're going to see everything that you could have done. And if you did not repent, if you did not turn before your transition, you do not fully accept your good and bad, if you do not fully accept your exaltations and your debilitations, if you do not fully accept your flaws and all, and did your best to work through them all the way, every single moment, every single day, doing your best to get in tune with nature, doing your best to get in tune with the divinity, through these divine teachings of the Christ consciousness, through these frequencies, through these waves, through these frequent waves of vibration, then you're going to judge yourself, and you're going to put yourself in a hell realm for a certain amount of time, according to what you have done, according to what you did not do, according to how you have acted, how you have thought, because everything is thought. Everything you're going to see is just your thought. What you could have thought about, deliberately thought about, and did not take the time to think about, to change your perspective. You did not take the time to change your perspective, to thoroughly change your perspective and begin to put your conscious mind, on a route straight to the tropics, to put your conscious mind on a route to get back in tune with nature and connecting with your natural magnetoreceptors that you have been genetically modified to ignore. And what's going to happen is your consciousness is going to transfer into another body. Just like it happens, just like when you dream. It happens when you dream. This happens when you quote unquote go to sleep and you dream, or you rest and you dream, you take it down, and now you go nu, you go into the nun. You go into, even when you close your eyes right now, we are really in nu right now. We are really in nun, the waters of nu right now as we speak. The only reason you're seeing me is because of your specific astrological program and the thoughts, the many thoughts that you could have thought, and your perspective bringing you into this reality for you to experience me speaking to you through this device, through this communication device that a cell, one of your cells, has. This is called cellular signaling. And your cells are doing this within your body right now. This is the inside of your body. The same way when you close your eyes and there's darkness, and then you begin to imagine and you begin to see things moving around. The same way when you go to sleep and you go into the darkness, the waters of Nu, and you go to the other realities, your consciousness, your brain, since it has lessened the senses here, it has lessened the projection of the senses in this realm. It has pushed those senses into another body. It transfers that consciousness. It transfers your consciousness. Your consciousness transfers into another body. And that's exactly what happens. Reincarnation is very real. I know there's people out there saying, like, what, reincarnation? No, reincarnation is very real. Okay? Your brain is like a radio system. It tunes to different channels, and all of this around us is just nothing more than frequencies. It tunes to different frequencies, different channels, and it picks up on certain frequencies, vibrations, energies. Energy, frequency, and vibration is what the universe works off of. And you are the universe, the YO universe. So you better believe whatever frequencies you are making with the waves that you are will create a vibration for your conscious mind to experience. And that's exactly how it works. So get ready to transition. People think it's sad when you transition, but you got to let the dead bury the dead. If these people don't know what they're doing, they're going to know. That's why our ancient cultures had celebrations of death or transitioning. We have celebrations of this because we actually put in place systems and cycles of time, spiraling cycles of time instead of linear cycles of time. We put in spiraling cycles of time, different cycles for every single thing. And so that we can teach people, we can teach ourselves every single cycle what to do before transitioning. And then when we transition, we will be sure that they are going to higher realms. We will be sure that they are transitioning into higher realms. And that's why we celebrate it. That's why these celebrations of Cinco de Mayo, all these different celebrations of the ancient civilizations were made. That's why the book of Coming Forth by Day is just a science book of how to travel, how to transition. People are not focused on just living in this realm. People are focused on transitioning because they know that every single moment you are transitioning. Every single time you close your eyes, you blink, you are transitioning. Every time you close your eyes to meditate or visualize something and you experience something else, you're transitioning. You're in a process of transitioning. You're in a process of transformation. This reality is nothing but transformation reflections. Take in this knowledge I have given you and let the dead bury the dead. Don't be sad when these people die. Of course it's a sad thing sometimes, but there's also a healthy perspective. There's also a balanced perspective. There's also different ways to look at it. When you look at it scientifically with objective facts. Reflected light from the most honorable prophet, Chief Eligio the Christ, higher self of the brown man and Wombman walking this plane, and my invoker of Holy Spirit, which is pure thought. Peace to the gods.